Tony Lamborn into the 22.
Hello and welcome to this first episode of Eagle Eyed, featuring Eagle number 528, David Ainu'u. David joins us from France, where he's preparing for the top 14 season with his club Toulouse. We have some really good conversations about his World Cup experience as a 19-year-old, the ups and downs of it, his move from Washington to France, and that quick rise from high school athlete all the way to professional athlete in a top European flight league. Really good conversation to have with him. He's a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy it. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Pleasure to finally meet you, on camera at least. So listen, you're in an off week right now, and it's 100 degrees. What are you doing this week?
Honestly, it's just getting stuff situated in terms of like my apartment, getting things ready because we leave the camp next week. So I want to come back in a clean apartment, and just doing my own training on the side. While I'm there, I just live right across the training center, so I'm working out, keeping my body active, and watching film from the previous weeks. See what I can improve on and go into this camp.
Have you been doing team trainings already, or has it just been individual trainings?
Team trainings. So in the beginning, we started just doing gym, small groups, 3 or 4, and then as the weeks went on, progressively increased the size of the groups. I think 3 weeks ago was our first actual team training, and then we've been together for the past 3 weeks, a week off, and then going back into it next week.
What's that looking like as far as the pandemic going? I mean, is there still, obviously it's hard to be social distance when you're doing drills.
Yeah.
But, what are the rules right now put in place either by France or by your club?
I know the league, and I think just France in general has imposed a lot of regulations and just a lot of monitoring. So for a while, in order for us to get to the club, we had to get temperatures checked, everything. We have to wear masks. Even when we're gymming, we have to wear masks. We're not allowed into our locker rooms. So I have to ask our kit guy to go in if I need to get my boots or anything. But we're all outside. All of our stuff is outside. The only time we're inside is for the gym, and then we're back outside again.
Right.
As time's gone on, it's kind of relaxed, but now that there's more cases, and Leon and Stefan say have picked up their cases, we're tightening back down. So when we get into camp tomorrow, or we leave Sunday, we're gonna have to wear masks on the bus. So it's tightening back up, but I don't have a problem with it, especially with how serious everything's going.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, everyone wants to play. The fans want to see the game
Exactly.
played. So if it means, wearing a mask while you're tackling somebody, not that I'll do that, but you do what you gotta do, right? And it's been great. I'm sure you've seen it. There's games down in the Southern Hemisphere. Marcel Paraki's been playing. Tony Lamborn's been playing. And to see that and to have fans in the crowd, it just, as a big fan like myself, I can't wait to see you guys start playing as well. It's just get you guys back out there.
Yeah, just the amount of talent that's come not only in the team, but in top 14 as well. A lot of transfers. I mean, like Joe, TT, those guys being in the league. One, I don't feel as alone anymore because I can just drive over to TT and Joe. But it'd be interesting to see how they perform in top 14.
So speaking of Joe, so when I touched base with you a few months ago about what we've been doing during the pandemic, you mentioned you've been doing some video gaming with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Before he came over. And when I moved back to my apartment, because during the pandemic, we didn't know how long we were going to be locked down. So the first 2 weeks, it was with some of my teammates, Piraki, Emmanuel, Mafal. We just trained together. And as time went on and it was pushing 2 months, I was like, I'm just going to come back to my apartment because Piraki finally came back. So I didn't want to take up any more space. By the time I came back, it was just video games with him and I. So working out in video games. But at least now that time's cut down. He's still training. He's getting back to the groove of things, so we haven't been playing too much. And I know he's working hard over there, and I just keep checking up on him. And whenever he wants to play, and whenever he wants to get beat again,
So I was going to say, who's a better gamer? It sounds like you.
I'm a humble guy, but when it comes to the games, just toot my own horn a little bit.
So speaking of Big Joe and TT, have you had further conversations with them, maybe giving them advice about making the move to France?
Actually, yeah. So the first week that Joe, I think it was a Thursday, 3 weeks ago. When he arrived, I drove. I drove all the way up to Lyon from Toulouse to go see him and help his family get situated. And yeah, we just talked a little bit. And even before he arrived, he was just asking me like, how's French life, how are the players, stuff like that. What he can do to integrate better into the teams and stuff like that. So just give him little advices. On the field, I don't need to give him advice. It's me that should be asking the on-field stuff. But when it comes to the life, the French life and just how to better prepare for a big life change. I just gave him my advices and how to go about it. And I think he's picking up pretty well. He's got his own group already. He's doing really well mingling not only with foreign players but also French players. It's a very big part, especially in the French rugby over here.
Well, it's definitely a lot of culture on each of those teams as well. It's
exactly.
all right, did you send him a nice little French language book to get ready?
Oh yeah, no, I just told him just watch Netflix, put the French subtitles on, But I'd love to hear his French in a couple months, see how he's progressed and everything.
Yours has got to be pretty good by now.
Yeah, just my French is good. I can communicate. I communicate really well with the coaches. I don't speak English to them unless there's something I can't translate in English. But French boys, French coaches, even when I'm not, in town, I'm speaking French, doing my best to integrate into the culture and just integrate a part of the team. And yeah, I think it helps a lot. And I think Joe will understand that as time goes on. And even TT, I haven't really talked to TT much. He's been ignoring my text messages. But no, we just talked to him 5 minutes ago. But no, I think the biggest part is just the language. Is massive respects, and I think any French person and players would give those two the respect if they really try and speak the language.
So you're going to the camp. Your first game is less than a month away, September 6th. How you feeling? Are you assuming you're fully healthy?
Yeah, I'm back from injury. Ankle's fully all right. When I got back from the ankle injury, I hurt my rib. I broke my rib, but I'm back. Yeah, I'm back into it. I'm feeling great. I've lost more weight since the pandemic and getting back here. Just hitting the reset button from everything that's happened and just preparing myself for the season to come because it is a long season. I think right now is just maintaining and trying to keep myself healthy, and so far so good.
Well, good. And then a month or so after that September 6th match, you're going head to head with TD.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. Yeah, it'd be really interesting. Hopefully I'm on the team to play that game because I definitely want to play against TT. It'd be interesting to see Joe and TT play against each other. So, now excited nonetheless.
Yeah, great. And I wish you luck with that. So let's back up a little bit. Let's go back to 2017. You're a high school kid, pretty much. You're being recruited to play college rugby. Central Washington, I think it was. Seattle Seawolves are interested in you. And then you agree to an academy deal in France. How did this all happen? What was the process like, and how quickly did it all happen for you?
Yeah, starting. I think right after school, you're right. I was gonna go play at Central, and just for some reason, like my thought process changed. I wanted to focus on the rugby specifically, and talking to one of a great coach of mine and a mentor, Salty Thompson. I remember sitting ages ago and just saying that the rugby's great, my rugby's great, but I'm still behind the curve, and that always stuck with me. And so that thought process led me into what I did my senior year. So I ended my school with an AA degree. So I at least had 2 years under my belt in college. And then after that, I just wanted to replace those 2 years with just 2 years of rugby. And so I told Central I wasn't going to come. And I guess that caught wind. An agency called me up and I guess was connected by JD Stephenson, and they basically asked me why I didn't go to Central, what my plans are, and I told them I just wanted to focus on rugby. I don't want to pass up the time that the abilities and times that I have now, going to school and not playing the best rugby Although I'm not saying that Central isn't the best rugby. And so they asked me, well, where did I want to go play? Where did I see myself playing? And having been here two or three times, twice before, for under 17s and under 18s tours with high school Americans, the first country that popped up in mind was France.
Right.
So I told them France, and they asked me, okay, pick three teams. Stat 2 is in because my favorite rugby player at the time was Census Johnson. He was playing here at the time.
Wow.
Toulon, because everyone knows Toulon, and they told me to pick a Pro D2 team, and I didn't really know any, so I just chose Perpignan. And then 3 weeks passed by, and the same agent called me up and said that Toulouse wanted to pick me up and give me a trial here. And I guess the coach for the French team at the time, Emile Ntamack, his son was on the field when I was playing him 5-6 years ago. And he remembered me on the field when I played his son, and when he caught word that I was looking to come over, they just picked me up. So that's basically the story of how I got here. I did my 6 months, and then they signed me on, and been here ever since.
Well, and that's great. That was one of your goals, which is good. And I totally understand what you're saying about playing at that level. You know, as good as these colleges could be, is just nothing. It's not the same when you get into professional camps, especially in Europe.
Right.
But with that said, what was that like for you? So you've gone from the American environment of rugby training, which is good in a lot of camps, but then into the Toulouse camp. You know, what was that difference like? Was that a big shock for you?
Massive shock, especially coming off of USA Rugby, playing at the highest in USA Rugby, with high school and high school Americans. Coming here and almost having that same thought process, I was in for it. Maybe 2 weeks into my time here, we played against Montpellier's academy squad, and I just got wrecked.
Yeah.
I got pumped in the scrums. I was tired. I didn't fit in immediately when I came here,
Right.
and that's just the level that distinct level of skill and experience, that I had to get back up. That's exactly what Salty was telling me years ago. Was there's still that gap, and I experienced it for the first time when I got here. Definitely when I got here, shell shock, big smack in the face. Like, you got to work 10 times harder to get to the level that a lot of these young players and academy boys are at, just to get to a professional level. So.
Right. Yeah, so it sounds like you've got the work ethic for it. I mean, Gary Gold talks highly of you, of course, and you've gone, from the academy level camp with Toulouse to getting your senior cap, end of 2018, and then what? 2 months later, you got your first USA senior cap against Samoa. I mean, that seems like that's huge. I mean, at the end of the year to jump up senior level French rugby to, and then also international level at that. Again, things moving quick for you.
Yeah, it was crazy getting that first cap, especially against Samoa, because I'm Samoan, and my dad for the longest time grew up watching the Manu Samoa, and definitely a special moment.
Yeah.
Having played against Samoa, beating Samoa my first senior cap, I think that was the highlight of that year, and just set the tone going into World Cup and even in the club scene
Right.
as well.
Well, how'd your family feel about that Samoa game? Who were they rooting for?
As the family member and as the son, of course, they were rooting for me, but I know in everyone's back of their mind they were going for Samoa. So,
yeah. They want to see you succeed, but maybe see Samoa win.
Yeah, either way, they're cheering. So,
speaking of World Cup, getting to the World Cup, and everyone I talked to that have been involved with World Cups or Olympics style, say the atmosphere is second to none. It is amazing how the fans react, how the countries treat you, and the level of play on the fields is so much different. So what was that atmosphere like for you?
Unreal. Even just traveling, Japan was an amazing country, and I think the fans, regardless of who the teams were just cheering. For me, I've not really been in those massive atmospheres before. It was an experience, and it just played into just the aura that the World Cup has.
Yeah.
And that made it real. Talking about it like, oh, going to the World Cup, yeah, like you don't really feel it, but once you're in it, the experience completely changes, and it's
Right.
even now it's really hard for me to explain. Even though my time there wasn't long, like
Right.
it was, it was good. I loved every bit of it.
The selection come out versus England, and you're going head to head with Dan Cole, 90 caps.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a good rugby player. I don't know, but so did you sleep at all getting into that match? Was that going through your head, or were you just saying, you know what, I'm playing my game. I don't care who's in front of me.
Yeah. I guess in the beginning when I saw my name on the team sheet as starting, scared,
Yeah.
because I watched these players. These are the players that I used to study and get my techniques off of. But the one person that really helped me mellow out, because he was my roommate, was Joe.
Yeah.
Joe and I were roommates, and he just told me, yeah, the same thing. It was just, play your game, play our game, stick to our structure. Whatever happens, happens. But they're human. You know.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got more experience than me, but just get up after whatever happens and just keep going. So, um, it's scary, but I think mentally I was ready for it. Whatever whatever it was, I knew I was going to learn from the moment, whether it was good things or bad things. So,
But so speaking of that match, obviously we got to talk about this. The fanfare, early fanfare is over. National anthems are done. You're on the pitch, kickoff.
Mhm.
3 minutes in, what happens?
so I remember it as we were packing down in the scrum. Everything felt really good, and just right after the hit, I could just feel the right side coming across,
Oh,
and for me, my whole objective was whenever that ball was put in, wasn't to fight against TT as he was coming, but just peel off to the left side so that we went around Coles,
right.
so that TT had an easier time just getting across and beating Marler. But when I tried to peel off, I couldn't lift my left foot.
Oh,
Um, my boot was stuck into the ground, and by the time I noticed, it was too late. I tried to fight against the pressure, but everything just turned against me. Um, I don't, I don't want to make any excuses, but yeah, it was just I couldn't pick up my foot.
oh,
Um, and even after I got up, I could still see that my studs were still in the ground, which
oh,
baffled
jeez.
me because with all that pressure and all those people on it, I thought it was broken, but it was just a high ankle sprain. uh, Honestly, I give him props because mentally I was down, I was embarrassed
Oh,
from the game, and
yeah.
I didn't open up any of the press conferences that happened after the game. I didn't look at any of the messages that were left on post and everything because I knew what people were going to say, and I just
Oh,
didn't want that to fill my
yeah.
my head at the time because it
Smart.
was already at an all-time low. So
Right.
no, it's a good thing, but I knew after that it was, I can't bank on what happened before. I need to get back in.
No,
Uh,
and what sounds like your
yeah,
return sounds like you're really good and healthy and strong again. So, I mean, excited about this next season to see you out there and playing. And, and speaking of that, you said your contract to the end of this next season. Any thoughts yet about after that?
um, no, I mean, I'm just happy playing the game, whether it be here or somewhere else. Uh, if the club wants to keep me, I'm more than happy to stay. An amazing team, and regardless of where I go, I know I'm always gonna thank these guys for
Right.
for having me here and giving me the start to a long career. I definitely wouldn't have done it without the Stad and Toulouse in general and all the amazing players and coaches. So whether I stay or whether I go, I'm always gonna be rouge and noir. This is my team. So
Family.
hopefully I stay, but if I go, I know that it's just there's more doors open for me. So
Right. I mean, I'm sure there won't be any shortage of interest for you, no matter where you go. Hopefully, you stay. Obviously, the Seawolves would probably love to have you come back home, and how that goes. It's that draw. It's obviously you can't replace European professional rugby. MLR one day hopefully will be there. I understand the draw getting home and or playing abroad. It's good to travel. You're doing things that you may not have done if you want to say college rugby or played football or something. So
yeah, no, I'm just even yeah. I don't mind going back home. I know there's more talent every year that the MLR grows. So it's even going there. I'm still excited to play, rugby and see the talent and play against players that I've played with and new players that are coming in. So
Yeah, that's great.
very interesting.
Well, listen, David, I really appreciate your time. Good luck coming this season with training beginning. Good luck with all that. Can't wait to see some matches on TV. But good luck, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.